You can pray and gain nothing. You can give charity and lose it all. You can sacrifice and still be empty. You can look religious, sound sincere, stand with the righteous, and still miss the point. Why? Because before Allah looks at what you did, He already knows why you did it. Before the action appears, before people praise it, before anyone sees it, there is something hidden, quiet, invisible, but powerful enough to change everything. Your intention. Because actions are judged by intentions, and every person receives what they intended. So two people can do the same thing, stand in the same prayer, give the same amount, say the same words, walk the same road, and yet they are not the same. One rises, the other gains nothing. Same action, different heart. Same movement, different destination. That is the secret of intention. It can take something small and make it greater than mountains. And it can take something huge and turn it into dust. Because your action is the body, your intention is the soul, and sincerity is what gives it life. Without intention, an action is just movement. A body without a soul, standing, speaking, giving, working, but empty. And with the right intention, even ordinary life becomes worship. A person eats so he has strength to worship. A person sleeps so he can serve better tomorrow. A person works so his income is halal. A person studies so he can benefit people. The action looks normal, but the intention lifts it. Same life, different heart, different value. That is the power of intention. It turns routine into worship. It turns ordinary moments into something sacred. But listen carefully. Intention does not only raise actions, it also exposes them. And this is the part that should scare you. Because you can do something beautiful for an ugly reason. You can help someone just to be seen. You can speak truth just to be admired. You can give just to be praised. You can worship while secretly worshiping the image of yourself. And people may never know. They may call you generous. They may call you righteous. They may call you brave. They may call you knowledgeable. But Allah knows. There will be people on the day of judgment who looked great in the eyes of others. A man who appeared to sacrifice everything. A man who appeared to teach knowledge. A man who appeared to give generously. From the outside, they looked like the best of people. Sacrifice, knowledge, charity. But then the hidden truth was exposed. One wanted to be called brave. One wanted to be called learned. One wanted to be called generous. And they were told, you received what you wanted. People praised you. People saw you. People gave you the title you were chasing. But Allah was not your goal. Think about that. A deed can be massive and still collapse. A life can look impressive and still be empty. Because the action was for people, not for Him. This is why intention is not a small detail. It is not decoration. It is not something you add at the end. It is the beginning, the direction, the hidden center, the thing that tells your action what it really is. Even sacrifice itself is not about what people see. The meat does not reach Allah. The blood does not reach Allah. What reaches Him is what was inside, the surrender, the sincerity, the hidden truth of the heart. So maybe the real question is not, what did you do? Maybe the real question is, who was it for? Because people see the sacrifice, Allah sees the intention. People see the charity, Allah sees the heart. People see the prayer, Allah sees why you stood, and that changes everything.
You can hide your intention from people. You can dress it beautifully. You can convince yourself. But you cannot hide it from Allah. Whether you hide what is in your heart or reveal it, Allah knows it. That means your intention is already known. Before anyone claps, before anyone criticizes, before anyone misunderstands you, before anyone praises you, Allah already knows. And that should comfort you and terrify you. Comfort you because maybe people never saw your sincerity. Maybe no one thanked you. Maybe no one noticed. Maybe you tried and failed. Maybe you wanted to do more but could not. Allah saw it. But it should terrify you because maybe people praised what Allah rejected. Maybe people admired what was poisoned inside. Maybe people thought it was for Allah, but you knew it was for yourself. That is why intention must be protected, not once, again and again. Because intention changes, it shifts, it gets polluted. It starts pure, then praise enters, attention enters, ego enters, and slowly the action continues, but the direction changes.
You still pray. You still give. You still speak. You still serve. But now, you are looking sideways. Who noticed? Who appreciated it? Who mentioned my name? Who saw me? That is when the soul begins to leave the action, and only the body remains, moving, but empty. This is why sincerity is so difficult. Not because the action is always hard, but because the heart is slippery. It can betray you quietly. So before you begin, ask, why? While you are doing it, ask, why? After it is done, ask again, why? Because it is not only how you start, it is how you continue. And sometimes, the smallest deed with a pure intention can outweigh what looks enormous. A person may intend to do good, but be unable to do it. No opportunity, no strength, no money, no opening. And still, Allah writes the reward, complete, not partial, not almost, complete. Because Allah saw the heart move. Allah saw the direction. Allah saw the desire. You may not have reached it, but your intention already traveled. There were people who wanted to go forward. They wanted to join. They wanted to strive, but they had no mount, no provision, no way, and they wept, not because they were lazy, because they were sincere. They were left behind physically, but not spiritually. Others walked valleys. Others crossed distance. Others carried the visible burden. But those who remained behind were still counted, because their intention was with them. They did not walk, but they were written. They did not cross the valley, but their hearts had already gone. That is mercy, and that is hope. Because maybe there are things you wanted for Allah, but could not complete. Maybe you wanted to memorize Quran, but life became heavy. Maybe you wanted to give charity, but you had nothing. Maybe you wanted to serve, but the door closed. Maybe you wanted to seek knowledge, but responsibility held you back. Do not underestimate a sincere intention. Even if your feet never reached it, your heart may have already gone. And Allah knows. A person may leave his home seeking Allah, but death comes before he arrives. He begins, but does not finish. He is on the road, but the road ends early. And still, his reward is written. Why?
because his intention had already arrived, even if his body did not. This is how Allah deals with sincere hearts. People measure results. Allah sees direction. So do not say, "I failed." Ask, "Was I sincere?" Do not say, "I could not finish." Ask, "Was I truly on the way?" Do not say, "No one saw." Allah saw. And if it was for him, it was not lost.
But there is another side. Just as intention can save what you could not complete, it can destroy what you proudly completed. That is the balance, hope and fear. A small deed for Allah may outweigh a mountain done for people, and a mountain done for people may become nothing. So look at your life, your work, your prayers, your giving, your content, your words, your relationships, your sacrifices, and ask the question you may be avoiding. Who is this really for? Is it for Allah or for the feeling of being seen? Is it for reward or for reputation? Is it service or image dressed like truth? Is it truth or ego dressed like truth? Is it worship or performance? Because if your intention is wrong, you can walk the right path and still end up lost. And if your intention is pure, even an ordinary path can lead you to Allah. This is the tragedy of our time. People perfect the outside and forget the inside. They polish the image but neglect the intention. They build public lives and lose private sincerity. They become visible but empty. And Allah is not impressed by appearance. He is not deceived by performance. He is not moved by applause. What rises to him is truth, sincerity, taqwa, the hidden direction of the heart. So before you post, before you speak, before you give, before you worship, pause and ask, Allah, is this for you? Not for praise, not for attention, not for status, not for people to remember me, not so I can feel better than others, for you. And if it is not pure, purify it. If ego entered, remove it. If praise attracted me, protect me. If I started for you but drifted toward people, bring me back, because I do not trust my heart without your help. That is real sincerity, not pretending your heart is pure, but knowing it needs protection. Before you leave, ask yourself one thing. What in your life needs to be purified for Allah? Your prayer, your giving, your work, your content, your relationships, your knowledge, your silence, your sacrifice. Because one day, everything visible will disappear. The titles will disappear. The followers will disappear. The praise will disappear. The reputation will disappear. Even the actions people remembered will be weighed by what they never saw. Your intention. No one heard it. No one saw it. No one clapped for it. But it decided everything. People saw what you did. Allah saw why you did it. So fix it before the action, protect it during the action, purify it after the action, because before anything else comes intention. And in the end, you will not only be faced with what you did, you will be faced with who you did it for.